Hello everybody, I'm Ulrich with Fix It Out. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the gasket around your valve covers. Now for those who don't know, the valve cover gasket just sits on the bottom of the valve cover, which is right over here. These go hard over time and then they don't seal as properly, and then oil tends to leak from it. So if you do have an oil leak visible over here or on the sides, there's a possibility it might be for a valve cover gasket. Mine is actually pretty good. I only have 150,000 miles on this car, which might seem like a lot, but for these cars, it's nothing. But for me, this is more preventative maintenance. So without further ado, we're just gonna jump right in it. The first step here is to actually remove the spark plug wires. Now it's a good idea to label them 1 through 4. Mine actually comes labeled from the box, so I don't have to worry about it. And if you do label them 1 through 4, just know 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to remove all of the spark plug wires. Just set them aside for now. Next, we are going to remove this breather hose that's just right over here. This is a squeeze type clamp, so you just have to squeeze it, move it to the side, and you should be able to just pull the breather hose right out. And now we remove the PCV hose as well. Just remove that clamp, and then you should be able to pop off the hose from the PCV valve. Now, side note, if this easily pops off, then it means that the rubber grommet that's underneath here is no good, so chances are you may need to get another rubber grommet. And it's also a good time to test out the PCV valve, and in order for you to test these, it's really simple. You just have to make sure that they do rattle. So if we remove this, as you hear, this does rattle. This is actually a fairly new part. This is actually an OEM PCV valve that I got from Toyota not that long ago, so I know that this is still good, but if it doesn't rattle, then it's time to replace it. There are two 12mm bolts that you need to remove in order to get this out of the way so you can get to the nut on this spark plug well. There's one, there's two, and then this can get up and out of the way. So with the 30mm socket and ratchet, we can remove the 4 nuts holding the valve cover to the spark plug wells. And now with a pry bar or a screwdriver, we can get underneath here and pop it up. Now you want to be careful not to gouge into the valve cover, so that way it doesn't create an uneven surface and then you have to worry about putting RTV there. So be very careful during this step. A flathead screwdriver is what ended up working best for me, but once you get it off, you may have to play with this part just a little bit in order to get the valve cover off, but eventually it should be able to just come right out. Now, I will be cleaning up the surfaces over here. There are actually 3 spots that we're going to be putting RTV gasket maker on in order to seal this a lot better. And we're going to focus here where the camshaft cap is, and we're going to put RTV a little bit, just a dollop over here, before and after the cap, and then right over here where the uneven surfaces are. You can't tell from the camera, but right over here the surface is uneven, so we're just going to put like a tiny layer right over there, as well as we're going to be doing the same thing on the other side. So we're going to make sure that the surface is clean. I'm going to be using a razor blade to remove all the old gasket material while also being careful not to gouge into the surface. And then with some brake clean and a paper towel, I'm just going to clean off the surface. Always spray directly onto the paper towel, never spray directly into the valve cover area. You do not want this inside of the engine, so we're going to avoid you doing that by spraying directly onto a paper towel. Now that's a nice clean surface. Now these were the seals that were right in here. Okay? All 4 of them just pop off, and then the next thing to do is to actually remove this gasket that is along the valve cover. Oh man, this thing's pretty much plastic. Yeah, it's definitely time to replace this. This is this rubber material is just so hardened it's actually cracking. I don't know if you can hear it. You can see here that this stuff is already cracking, so this is well past its life. Also a good time to spray down the area where the gasket will sit. Just wipe that down. I'm just using some brake clean in order to clean off this surface. And now it's time to fit the new gasket on there. All you have to do is just get it to seat well in place. Pro tip, make sure you run your finger across the whole gasket just to make sure it's well seated. So make sure you push down while you do it. And now this is ready to go back in. So just like I said, we're just gonna put a bead of RTV just right over here, just right across over here, just a very small layer. And then I'm just gonna spread it just a little bit by finger, get some on my finger and get it to go behind the camshaft cap, and then do the same thing for the other side. These are a lot harder to get to, so I'm just gonna put it on my finger, put it in place. Next we get the valve cover back into place with whatever wiggle method you want to use to get it back into place. And now we can drop in the new spark plug seals and then start threading in the retaining nuts. And then we're going to tighten from the in out. And then we torque each one of these down to 17 pound-feet. And then we could put the bolts tying in the throttle cable into place. Tighten the two 12 millimeters until they're just tight. Replace each spark plug cable. Attach the PCV and the hose back on. And the last step is actually to install this breather hose back in. Unfortunately, my luck sucks, and this was so hardened that it became basically plastic. As soon as I tried to take it off, it just snapped. So unfortunately, I will have to look for a new breather hose. So if this happens to you, don't worry, just replace it. This should be the last step, and then you should be good to go. And that's really all there is to it, guys. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please share in order to help this channel grow. Thank you guys so much for watching.